Hey, I'm Bob, and another day messing around here with the old 51 Ford. We've cut some holes and did some body work. Um, this is something that you won't find from an OEM vehicle. Um, a cargo light as well as a third brake light, just to kind of add a modern touch to an old truck. And then around here, we've also put clearance lights on the truck. We'll get rid of that for now, but had to put some new holes in it. The original, or when I originally got the truck, it had cab lights. They were vintage, but there was only three, and they were not positioned very nice on there. The center one was like 2 inches off center, so that made it kind of hokey. So for the most part, we'll probably tip it up on its nose sometime today to work on the cab corners that we had replaced. And from there, I'm just kind of jumping around a little bit, not having stuff that I ordered just quite yet, and it kind of mixes it up as well. As you can see, we've got a modern electronic menagerie, and well, it's just something that I've had enough of for a couple days, and we'll be taking on this challenge at a later time. Meanwhile, doing something kind of cool, cutting some more holes. We're putting a modern type fuel cap cover. They call that a flap, and it will go in something like that. The original 51 Ford, the fuel tank was behind the seat, which is not real safe to have literally a bomb behind you. So we've relocated the fuel tank, or put the fuel tank under in a more modern location, and as you can see, it's stainless steel, and it's got the built-in fuel pump along with the sending unit to tell the fluid level. So needless to say, we got to get fuel in this thing somehow, and here's how we'll begin. I've already cut this hole earlier today, and it's now time to try to configure this to where it's going to fit and function well. So, but for right now, trying to get a good angle to the fuel tank with the fuel line. Okay, cool. And I think it might, it's kind of falling into place. See, this has to be higher than that, and this is kind of a doable angle we got going on here. There hasn't been fuel in the tank, and this will give me plenty of room to get down into that. It should flow nice. It has to be at this level right here because of the bed is in this area. Okay, I guess it's time to kind of tack this in place and get some idea of how much work it's going to be putting it together. Right now I'm just tacking the filler neck in. Man, that metal's thin. Wow. We may have to TIG this in. Try to get it tacked anyways right now. It's not being real user friendly. Okay, want to start again. And as minuscule as that spark was, it was a good one. I think that'll work, don't you? Alrighty, it's time to move on to the unwanted gas hole, and what we need to do is grind the paint up and prep for welding. Now that we got rid of the unwanted paint, seeing if there's any undesirables on the inside that will take notion to burn. And how about we put that there? And this is prefabricated. I've already made this to fit in the hole. So put it back here like that. And as you can see, it seals the hole up pretty nice. I try to trim things down so you don't have a bunch of unnecessary metal inside. And this is way heavier than normal automotive sheet metal, and it does two things. It doesn't tend to warp as bad, and it allows us to weld it much easier. So, okay, now we need to do some work. This is a piece of lead. It's I frequently use it for shaping. It tends to work very well, as you can see. So I don't know which way it really goes. We'll have to roll it around and position it and try to find, must have been like right about there. Okay, we'll put a mark on that pup so when we go to weld it in, we know where we're at. So this is positioned like that. We'll rotate it, line up the pencil marks and the soapstone marks, and that's pretty nice right there. Okay, as you can see, we're jumping around. That way it doesn't warp crazy. And pretty much so, as long as you can hold your hand on it and it doesn't hurt you, we're doing something right. Okay, naturally we're trying to make the hole go away because we've replaced the tank behind the seat with the tank that's under the truck, which makes it significantly safer. And making a patch and welding it in is the best way to achieve that goal. So that's just exactly what we've done here. And now we will finish grinding this out a little bit, making it scuffed up so that the plastic will adhere better. And yes, we will put some body filler in there. I feel it being a little bit low right in this area. I'm going to beat on it a little bit. And whenever we're grinding, we're trying to just remove the weld that's humped up. And we do not want to spend any more time than we necessarily have to grinding on the base metal because it's so thin. The factory metal is so thin. So a little bit of hammering here and a little more grinding, and oh, it's going to be beautiful. Always try to grind as much of it and rough it up so that the body filler will adhere better. I'm wanting to leave the original patina. Naturally, after you do that, you pretty well lost 75 years worth of natural deterioration from the weather. And what we'll do is, even though we're replacing metal and changing things, we will put the red oxide primer down, and then we will finish it with a actual gloss black and intentionally rub it with like a Scotch-Brite in order to recreate the original patina, which you can see quite well right here. Okay, we are going to use body filler to make the surface of the welded components smooth. Okay, and what we want to do is put the proper proportion of that stuff in the mix, and mix it to where it's consistently the same. I like using glass, well, because it cleans up nice and don't tend to have a bunch of little specks of plastic floating around in the next batch. You want to try to squeeze it on there and make it go into the metal, and naturally the nicer you get it put down, the easier it is to work out. Now we're starting to shape the body filler. Most of it will end up on the floor. This is not your typical sanding device. I've got some pretty fancy stuff, but this is something I made some number of years ago, and I'm able to bend it to the contours, and I guess it's just my way of doing it. And you work it different ways. You work it to the one way, and then you kind of create an X pattern, and as you can hear, it's starting to rub into the metal a little bit. I want to get this plastic off of the paint because the adhesion isn't nearly as good, but it's given me some idea of how far I can move. I try to avoid having more than 1/8 of an inch of body filler. Here we are finishing the unwanted gas hole. They call this body work for a reason. It is work. Kind of getting there. Yep. Oh, by the way, look at the detail of the older vehicles. I thank you for hanging out, and please subscribe. Have a great day.